Depth. Greetings, everybody. So, everybody's figured, like the 2.5 people who follow this channel, that I'm doing Next Generation in order. And it's been a while since the last review because the beginning of the show, there's some roadblocks. Like, I don't have the same exaggerated hatred for season 1 of TNG that some people have. Like, some people call the whole season unwatchable. I actually enjoy most episodes in season 1, but not the first two after the pilot, The Naked Now and Code of Honor. I've been putting those off a bit. And I'm of course starting with The Naked Now, which was one of those really weird ideas Gene Roddenberry had when he was involved in starting this show. Like, he had this idea that Next Generation would be the proper way of doing Star Trek, so he had to retell the stories of the original series in the proper way of doing Star Trek according to his wishes. And that was such a terrible idea. I don't know if I even need to tell anybody this, because people watching these reviews, I figure are generally people who have watched all these episodes. Like, these are not reviews for new people new to the show who have never seen Star Trek The Next Generation. It's obviously made for people who've seen it, who just want to hear somebody else's perspective on it. And this makes it kind of hard to make a compelling video, because I think we all agree on how stupid this idea was to remake the TOS episode The Naked Time into a TNG episode. It was... I'm sorry, that was just... With all due respect for everything Gene Roddenberry has done, that was such a really fucking stupid idea. I have no idea what he was thinking. Like, it was before his strokes and before his mind was taking a nosedive, which I don't want to sound disrespectful to that. It was before that. Like, Gene Roddenberry was still a respected man with full mental capacity, but somehow with this idea something didn't really go right in his head. I don't know what possessed anybody to think this was a good idea. Like, first of all, let's say that The Naked Time wasn't exactly the best TOS episode to begin with, but it was a fine episode. I mean, like, I'm trying to balance these two things. It was fine, but this episode wasn't exactly... The Naked Time wasn't exactly something to take as a starting point for a new show 30 years later. No, actually 20 years later. Sorry about that. Like, that's not exactly the brightest, most amazing sci-fi plot ever, that they encounter something that makes everybody drunk. That I don't think that's legendary, unforgettable science fiction material for all eternity, that in 1,000 years, when the descendants of us look back at science fiction from our time, they're going to remember, oh, an anomaly that makes everybody drunk. That's the most genius science fiction idea ever. Like, that's the essence of 20th century science fiction. No, that's not it. That's absolutely not it. Um, and they had to redo it for Next Generation with the new cast, and I guess what everybody remembers is the Data Fully Functional scene. And to sum up my positives of this episode, that was it. Like, that's the Data Fully Functional scene. And the rest of it was just, Wesley Crusher with Will Wheaton's absent acting ability takes over the role of Riley, taking over the ship, being fucking obnoxious. I don't know how much of it was Will Wheaton and how much of it was the terrible writing. Probably 90% of it was Will Wheaton, because he has the acting ability of I don't know what exaggerated insulting thing I could say, but he has the acting ability of me. If I was in that episode and was asked to act in it, I'd probably act as badly as him, because I have no idea about acting. And neither did he. And he still doesn't. He never did at any point in his career. And the only other notable thing is Riker remembering this was a TOS episode and looking it up. And of course, the famous sexist scene of Beverly Crusher being super horny for any guy she comes across, especially Picard, which was like the first straw which made her quit the show. Generally, the show was really bad at writing female characters because it was run by Gene Roddenberry. Like, everybody knows his level of respect for women. Majel Barrett certainly did. Like, the female characters in TNG Season 1 were notoriously terrible, which is why 2/3 of them quit the show. First Denise Crosby, then Gates McFadden, and only Marina Sirtis held out with her amazing character being, oh, I feel it. Oh, I feel things. I feel. Even though she was the fucking worst of the lot in season 1. Man. Yeah, the female characters were fucking terrible in season 1 because, Gene Roddenberry and him not having any idea of how women work other than being at his service. Yeah, but yeah, I can't really say much positive about this show except that it has, the plot of TOS The Naked Time, that everybody gets drunk from some spatial anomaly and the ship is under threat, and somehow they need to figure out how to get out of it, but they're all drunk. And somehow everybody has like 10% of their abilities, but they put their individual 10% together to somehow form 50% to somehow manage a solution. And, like I said several times before, it's not exactly the pinnacle of science fiction. And it was entertaining in TOS, and this repetition of it, quite frankly, other than the Data Fully Functional scene, it's just stupid. The whole episode is just stupid, annoying, and a waste of time, and a waste of the cast, and a waste of the sets, and a waste of the whole show. And it's just fucking annoying. It's just one of my least favorite TNG episodes ever, and that's why it was such a roadblock for me to review TNG in order, because this episode annoys the fuck out of me because it's so stupid and useless. And yeah, I could go on and on with just. It's so bad. It's so terrible. It's so freaking terrible. I don't know. I can't recommend it. Not even like for curiosity. Just skip this annoying, stupid episode. It's not worth it. It's just a waste of their time, waste of my time, waste of your time. It's just stupid, annoying shit.